This is a Thunder Game Report.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner from Chesapeake Energy Arena, where the Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs, who come in with a 13-1 record, will tip it off a little bit after 7 o'clock tonight. It's all hands on deck for both teams. Scott Brooks says he's got everybody available tonight. Greg Popovich of the Spurs says he does too. Pretty interesting conversations tonight with both coaches, especially Pop. He has such a reputation for being bad with the media, especially in those national television interviews. He was really open with us in the back hallway, and there's a little bit of hilarity when Spurs killer Derek Fisher walks by. So check this out. Here's Scott Brooks and Greg Popovich from the back hallways.
Coming into the game, this obviously San Antonio 13-1. What have they done over that stretch that allowed them to amass such a record?
Nothing different. They started another season. That's what they do, and they do it every year. And I said it yesterday or the day before. Next year they're going to be in the same position. They're just so consistent with their approach. They have great players with a great coach, and they play well together. And that creates 50 wins every year.
Scott, does a great system create a great culture, or is it the other way around?
Jeez, man, it's like philosophical, man. Gosh, damn. Tim Duncan, now I got to answer these.
Carry on.
We have a long time before I can answer that question. But yeah, it's a good question.
Part of their system, they have a lot of guys. It seems like they can just plug, a new guy in there every year, a couple of different guys off the bench. Their bench has been really good this year as well. But you guys are getting some of that too, some new guys, some young guys. What do you take from them as one of the other Western powers as you look to build your depth?
Well, I mean, we respect what they do. There's no question. I have a lot of respect for Coach Pop. He's one of the best pro coaches of all sports, not just the NBA. He just has a very competitive, serious approach every night, and he doesn't fluctuate game to game. And their players are good. They got talented players. You can't argue that. I mean, that's a fact. They're a very good, talented team and well coached. And we like what we do here, and we want to keep working and building every day. And we have that same mentality. You have to do your job every day, and that's the fun part of the job, is to do it every day and be able to do it.
You said that they play no agenda basketball better than anybody else. What does your defense have to do to be able to stop them from being able to play that way?
Well, we have to make sure that we can contain the basketball. They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of guys that can make plays and make the correct reads with their passing. A lot of times you're chasing the basketball around. You have to be able to control the ball. They score nearly 50 points in the paint. They score a bunch at the three-point line. They don't get to the free throw line, but they do a lot of great things offensively with their spacing, but they have a lot of playmakers. Their 4s and 5s can make good decisions, and it's just not their guards making all the decisions.
Is it literally what they did last year and the year before and the year before?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've always been a great defensive team, and then I think throughout the years they've really improved their offense. A lot to do with that is the continuity and the understanding of one another and where they are in their careers. I mean, I don't know all the particulars, but they all seem to just focus on winning games and move on to the next game, and don't get so down if they don't win, and they don't get so excited if they are on an 11-game winning streak. I'm sure you look at their team, you would never know that they're on an 11-game winning streak, but they're just so consistent. That's what I think every team in all sports and try to accomplish.
Pop has always said that you cannot win a championship unless all of your players, your key players in particular, are healthy for the playoffs, and that's always informed the way he has managed his guys' minutes, including resting them from time to time. You experienced that last year when you lost Westbrook for the playoffs, and I see he rested the other night. Have you sort of come around to his way of thinking in terms of giving key guys a game off now and then?
I mean, Russell is just unique because of the process that he was going through. If he wasn't going through that process, I wouldn't have done it. I mean, he's 25 years old. He can play every night, 48 minutes every night. I'm sure when I don't know the exact numbers when Tim Duncan was 25, I'm sure he was playing 40 minutes a night. You have to understand where each team is, where we're evolving to a veteran team, but we're still young. Certain guys I rest during practice, certain guys I rest during shoot-arounds, certain guys I rest with limited minutes. And I don't think I need to go into detail which one I have to do, but I think you can figure out the game by game. But there's practices I rest guys and shoot-arounds. But there's really no reason to rest a 25-year-old healthy guy, and we have a team full of them.
Tabo on Parker?
Not the start, but at times, that's the flexibility we have with our backcourt. We got two guys that can guard either guard spot, and Tabo and Russell can, they will definitely see him throughout the game.
A matchup this big, I know it's so early, but we talked about it during LA a little bit. Potential teams that are going to be there at the very end. How much is there a little extra emphasis on a game like this? I know every game's important, but as far as just remembering this type of stuff for down the road.
We know we're playing hottest team in the game, one of the best teams in the league. We know that, but we take pride in every game. We take pride just like they do. If we win, we're not going to have a celebration in Bricktown tonight. Katie's restaurant open tonight? No, not yet. Next week we will. And if we lose, we're not going to hang out with Nick tonight. So we're taking every game as every game's important. 82 games. It sounds a little boring, but that's how we approach things.
How curious are you how you stack up against these guys?
Well, they definitely, like I said, they're the hottest team in the game. Portland, I guess, is won 11 games in a row. Double-digit winning streak is not easy to do in this league. But it's going to be an interesting game tonight. There's no question. We're up for the challenge, and hopefully after 48 minutes, we're happy with the results.
Something that's big early in the season, and every game it's a journey, the 82 games. But is this something we talked to Scott Brooks about it too? Is this something you're going to a little extra emphasis or remember what happened tonight for later for a matchup you're probably going to see down the road?
Well, when two good teams play, coaches don't have to say anything. Players on good teams are competitive, and they're both looking forward to the game. Probably, I would imagine, but. At the same time, we'll both be different teams come playoff time. So this is a time for learning and, figuring out what you need to improve, that kind of stuff.
He's obviously using you as a measuring stick. Are you using them as a measuring stick tonight?
I think, every game to some degree is a measuring stick, no matter who you play. Improvement is what we're all interested in. And developing habits and doing things consistently. So it doesn't matter who you're playing. What really matters is how you're playing. And obviously playing a good team, can probably teach you more than playing a team that's not very good, without a doubt.
You've plugged a lot of guys into your system over the years. A lot of guys other teams may have cast off, and you've picked up like a Danny Green. I don't know how much you've seen of the Thunder's young guys, Jeremy Lamb or Reggie Jackson or Steven Adams. If you have seen them, what do you think of those guys?
I haven't really seen them, to be honest with you. As I mentioned to the guys this morning, at this point in the year I pay more attention to what we're doing because we've got a lot of things to work on before I worry about other people.
The development of Kawhi Leonard as a defender over the past couple of years, does that change the way that you guard Kevin Durant? Do you shade him more? Do you play him more straight up?
No, in my mind, Kevin's kind of like turning into Amari Stoudemire for us. No matter how we guard him, he gets 30. We've done everything to Amari over the years when he was at Phoenix, and the game would end, I look at the stat sheet and he'd have 30. Sometimes he'd have 38, that kind of thing. And it's the same way with Kevin, no matter what you do, he's going to figure out a way to score. So.
Is to change your approach to them? You say let him score and stop the other guys?
Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't say that. We try. We try to stop him. We don't. You don't see us stand there and say, "Okay, Kevin, go ahead." We're still trying. He just gets his shots off and gets to the line and does what he does no matter what. That's who Kevin Durant is. That's why he's so great. But it really is about doing what your team does best, trying to get that squared away first.
Does the quality of your depth surprise you at all this early in the season in terms of the contributions you're getting?
I think we've got more guys coming off the bench playing well than I expected to at this point of the year. I thought some guys would still be getting used to the system or trying to figure out their roles, that kind of thing. So they've come along more quickly than I would have thought. Yeah.
Kevin has taken almost as many free throws as your team has. You have not gotten to the line as much this season. Is there something going on there? Because
if there is, I don't know. We play the same way, same team. We play the same way all the time. So.
Bellinelli's progression with you, how has that gone?
He's going fine. He's a high IQ basketball player. He really understands how to play, so it's not very difficult in him figuring out motion and spatial relationships on the floor. And he's a pretty brave player. He's a lot like Manu. He plays all out, and that's a great thing. He's not afraid to take a big shot. I think he learned a lot defensively being with Tibbs in Chicago, so it's not like starting from scratch defensively with him since he was in that program. So he's done a good job.
When a team has a player like Nick Collison who's accepted his role and excelled at it for so long, what impact can that have on the franchise?
Well, every team has to have role players, willing role players, not forced into it. And Nick is like the epitome of that, or has been, over the years. And it makes it easier for coaches and teams to do what they want to do if they know exactly what they're going to get out of one or two or three guys every single night, no matter what. And Nick's not going to ever step up and say, "Hey, you didn't call my number. You're holding me back." I don't think Nick's going to do that. If he does, let me know. I'll be shocked.
Are there a couple of things that stand out to you about him? Just what he really does well that impresses you?
Well, I mean, he's kind of like Splitter. Night after night. He's going to rebound. He's going to guard. He's going to go after loose balls. He's going to position himself to be able to help other players by his spacing. And that's coaches love to count on that on a consistent basis.
Pop Westbrook says he's not quite back yet, but Durant says he might be a little bit quicker. Have you seen enough of him on film yet to make a judgment?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell if he's quicker for sure. My eyes don't go that fast, but he's probably right. How could he be 100%? Now it'll take some time, but. Being the competitor he is, him at 90 or 95 or 97.5, I'm not sure what the difference is.
Do you look to manage the pace anymore in here against them?
The what?
The pace of the game?
Athletes and that kind of thing? No, we don't, because we have to have pace to win also. We can't just be a half-court team, We don't have guys, big, slow, old guys like Fisher and, guys like that on our team. We don't. We're all young. What was the question?
Managing the pace.
Oh yeah. So we're better when we have pace. We're not as athletic as we used to be. So if we're in the half court, young athletic teams like Oklahoma, they're going to have their length. It's hard to score against them. And so over the past 3-4 years, we've had to pick up the pace and. That's something we have to do if we want to score. We can't win scoring 80 points,
Coach, is there anything you've seen Manu do even better this year? Seems like he always creates a spark for you guys, but even more so.
Right now he's playing better now than he did at the end of last season. And part of it, I think, is because he didn't play this summer for the first time in a gazillion years overseas. He's had a lot of miles when you consider how many times he's played in Europe. And he used a strength coach for most of the summer to get stronger and build his body a little bit. So I think as far as his strength and his readiness to play, this is the best he's been in a couple of years. So we're hoping that that'll continue.
Did you have any concerns coming into this season about a hangover off of how the finals ended last year with your guys? Obviously, it didn't happen.
No, hangover's never been, whether we win a championship or lose in the first round or whatever. We've had a practice all these years. The first thing we do is watch film of our last series, win or lose. So we showed them Miami, and I got on their ass and told them, we did this wrong, we did that wrong, and that's a whole lot better than crying and saying, "Oh, geez, the basketball gods are really tough on us at the end of Game 6. How could those things happen?" Well, that's not going to do any good for anybody. So rather than do that, I wanted them to come out of the film session angered that they missed opportunities and that sort of thing, rather than poor me. And they're mature enough to understand that and allow me to do that with them.
Have you stopped thinking about Game 6?
I think about it every day.
Like David Stern did a radio interview today in which
David
Stern. Mm-hmm. In one part of it, he talked about how much he enjoyed your in-game TV interviews.
He's a human. He likes to be entertained too. He don't want to be bored to death every night. The same old coach speak. That kind of thing. So I'm glad that he's enjoying it along with a few other people, my family, and I don't know who else.
Greg Popovich, head coach of the Spurs. Scotty Brooks, head coach of the Thunder. Ought to be a heck of a game tonight. We'll be here for all the post-game comments from the Thunder locker room. So keep checking back at ThunderGameReport.com.